I'm so excited to welcome a very special guest, a true innovator in the beauty space. His name is Nick Gavrelis, and he is the founder and CEO of Iero Beauty. If you're in the beauty industry or follow beauty news, you may have already heard of Nick. He is the former senior vice president of global product development at MAC Cosmetics and the innovator behind some of their most iconic products. But with Iero, he's taking a different approach. He's blending high performance formulations with a focus on self care, energy, and inner beauty. Welcome to Well Done, Nick.
Kat, delighted to be with you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited for our conversation today. Just to kick things off, you've had such an incredible career in beauty. In your words, you've spent time in every corner of the beauty industry, from studio to selling floor to the labs of MAC Cosmetics. And now with Iero, you've created something that feels truly fresh and different. Can you share your journey in beauty and how that led you to Iero?
Yeah, you did the most beautiful summary. I mean, seriously, in 2 sentences, you gave a snapshot of the whole journey. And I guess the backstory of the journey for me, starting as an aspiring fashion photographer and literally getting pulled off the lighting during a shoot and asked to kind of help out because a makeup artist wasn't able to arrive on set and we needed to crank out a client's headshots. And that for me was the very first experience doing makeup. And with painting background, fine arts, I wasn't scared because it was pretty natural. And I was designing lighting for this photographer for about a year and I knew what she was looking for. So the makeup end of it was pretty easy. Everything was very subtle, fresh, lit from within, and understanding how the lighting was going to play off of the different textures that I was working with. It really began a love affair for me with makeup. With that, and through all of the experiences, whether it was, backstage, in the studio, to the labs, and literally evaluating product and using every single face I could find, whether it was a chemist or an assistant, etc., really honing in on this beautiful thing that happens when an individual feels understood, feels nurtured energetically. You watch them literally illuminate from within. And so over my 30 plus years of adventures within the beauty space, the profound truth that I swear by today, authentic confidence and beauty, they are the most beautiful, vibrant energies that come from within and radiate out. If you can unlock the secret of that, and that is through nurture, whether you are responsible for nurturing that person in front of you that you're getting ready for a TV show or set or to come down a catwalk, and you can help them come back into themselves in the present moment. When someone feels nurtured, they feel beautiful and in harmony inside, the most amazing things happen. It begins here through the eye, but this vibrant energy is arresting and we all have it. And the message that, I want to get across with Iero Beauty is it really starts from within. Beauty is much deeper than skin level. And so if you can untap and unlock this beautiful, vibrant, energetic force, and you honor and love and nurture it, meaning yourself, you're unstoppable in the present moment. And that's what we want to capture.
I love that. During your journey, were there specific turning points where these themes started to come out? Because you spent almost 20 years at MAC developing products. So how did that philosophy emerge?
It really began before as a working commercial makeup artist. But what's interesting is I carried that forward and through all of my experiences at MAC, literally early days as an artist, within artist training and development, leading the training efforts and really helping some of the newbies feel not only fluent in their product knowledge and really giving them confidence within their skill level. What I found was as we're demoing product and touching them and you bring them to life, it's amazing when there is a comfort level, a harmony, when the individual is really feeling present, when heart, brain are in coherence. It is incredible to watch the change in personality, the dynamic in conversation, and most importantly, whether it's a full-on beat face with quite a bit of drama and definition, or whether it's gorgeous, like no makeup. When you see someone literally spark, and it's this beautiful spark, it is humbling and the most beautiful thing to witness. And so that, I would say, has been with me most of my career. And it just is confirmed each and every time I touch a face or I work on someone who's not having their best day, or who's having their best day, but they are so anxious, so stressed, so in autopilot. When you bring someone back to present moment, the most beautiful things happen, not only in terms of how we can achieve what it is that we set out to, but more importantly, the energy that we illuminate into the world. I say all the time now with iero beauty, reveal your light. And it's much more than makeup. Revealing your light is this beautiful harmony, really driven by the heart. And you reveal it by being the most authentic version of you and feeling in harmony and feeling present.
And I know that's also emphasized in the name iero, if you can expand on what that means.
Yeah, it's interesting. The name, which I think I searched and I had all these meaningful conversations that were philosophical, metaphysical, spiritual, marketing worthy. And I ended up going back to my roots. I'm of Greek background, and the name iero comes from the ancient Greek word ieros. Ieros means sacred. And to us, the brand, you, the consumer, your authentic, radiant energy, that divine spark within you, that's what we're talking about when we say sacred. We all have it. And every cell, what we're trying to do by not only calling the brand Iero sacred, we are a prompt for you to say, reveal your light, reveal that beautiful, authentic, divine energy within you, and there'll be no regrets.
How do you incorporate ingredients that are science backed, but also incorporate this idea of energetic well being, emotional well being into your products?
It's actually twofold for me, especially over the last 20 some odd years, doing product development, leading product development, efficacy and performance have always been critical, especially at a brand like MAC, where the makeup artist is the first consumer. And we would use the tagline makeup created by makeup artists for makeup artists. So for me, performance, efficacy, whether it was a primer or a foundation that had skincare benefits, all super important to bring the results. Working with some of the most innovative chemists within Italy, I knew the formula piece was going to be amazing, especially as I briefed them on our concept. And the concept was, I want to deliver gorgeous results to skin. I want textures that are sensual and very elevated. But the kicker is, I want to create a multi-sensorial experience. So the experience the consumer is actually immersed in is one that's involving all of their senses. The sense of touch, beautiful, sensual textures that feel very luxurious, color, but in a natural way, honoring again the skin's integrity and the environment. But we used beautiful things to color the formulas naturally. For instance, in our serum oil, we call the color part of our unique 5D experience. The first D is color, or color therapy, or chromotherapy. And that's where color can subtly encourage a shift in your mood energetically just by looking at it, just by touching a vessel that it's in, just by opening a package. And so Moonkissed is all about calming, soothing, aesthetic, barrier repair, radiance, long and instant hydration, anti-aging, and obviously the most important thing is that detoxification and kind of balancing and harmonization of overall skin. So we've used within the formula a beautiful Ayurvedic mixture of botanicals that create this transparent indigo color. Why indigo and why violet for Moonkissed? The color for me is that unspoken cue that just makes you feel like you've hit safety, whether you're starting your day or you're ending a very long, demanding day and there's been no you time. Before you even go into the experience of the application, it begins with color. Then smell. The sense of smell is such a beautiful, a profound experience. So rather than being unfragranced and smelling like a salad dressing, I really wanted to incorporate the beautiful use of natural essential oils. For Moonkissed, it's a beautiful combination of lavender, chamomile, and frankincense essential oils. Again, to help provide a shift in your emotional state, to give you that moment of, I've just caught my breath before you actually begin the self nurture, which again goes back to the sense of touch. But before we get there, mindfulness cues, including like within formulas, we try to provide a little hidden treasure. In the oil, it's Mediterranean blue corn flour, and it floats ethereally in the formula. Why? No reason. It's not going to provide an end result to the skin. It's not a powerful active ingredient. It's an emotive ingredient. I call it emotive because it provides an uplift. And interestingly, on an energetic or esoteric term, Mediterranean blue corn flour is a very auspicious flower, a perennial flower that connects you with your ancestor lineage and ancestral wisdom. That means safety. You're surrounded, you're supported. Universe got your back. Within our mist, you're actually loading and blessing pure amethyst crystals. We take you through a ritual of returning to your breath. You place your love energetically in, you set an intent. How do I want to feel? What do I want to create today? You pause, and then you literally empty it into the bottle. And every time you use, and you can see the crystals at the bottom, every time you use, you're actually hearing and you're putting your intention, how you want to feel, what you want to create. Because again, an intentional approach in everything is really critical because you will manifest it more quickly and you will feel an inner peace knowing that you're taking the time to set your stones in motion. So for me, this is such an important thing, but it's all brought into full motion energetically, and the experience becomes much more profound by the link to ritual. In choosing ingredients and working with our raw ingredient suppliers and our chemists, I knew that I wanted this to be a gorgeous love letter to the Mediterranean and Aegean. So I wanted to use beautiful ancestral ingredients from the Mediterranean that had myth and history and lineage, but had efficacy to deliver really beautiful results to skin. So with that in mind, we were able to do some really amazing upcycled extracts that have incredible efficacy. One, and speak of an ancient ingredient, pomegranate. We do an upcycled pomegranate from the Italian juice making industry. And what's interesting about this very concentrated pomegranate extract, it is one of the few Mediterranean adaptogen ingredients, meaning it will help to basically counterbalance or offset the stress to the skin from environment, from internal stress, cortisol, adrenaline. So it's powerfully detoxifying. It's amazing for really punctuating radiance in the skin, as well as moisture and soothing comfort. So for me, that was an important piece to work this anti-inflammatory in. Another one is also an ancient Greek mythical ingredient. If you think about Bacchus, the god of wine, and the importance of winemaking to the ancient Greeks even, we're using the ancient Greek black grape. And it's an upcycled ingredient from the very finest Italian winemaking. And it's actually the pomace, the fruit and interior of the grape after the pressing process. And then through a water-free extraction process, they're able to pull out of it or refine a very powerful polyphenol and resveratrol-rich extract, again, that detoxifies that's a remarkable anti-inflammatory ingredient. On top of that, it helps to stimulate collagen and elastin synthesis. So those are only two ingredients out of a battery of botanicals. And trust me, I am almost ashamed to tell you I'm a maximalist when it comes to whether I'm using ingredients to prepare something in the kitchen and I'm, cooking dinner for you because you've come over. I want to have the most incredible experience that provides depth, balance, and unique experiences and beautiful results, meaning you're happy. Same thing in formulating. For me, yes, we begin with very beautiful, clean, simple bases of botanical ingredients, botanical oils like camellia seed, abyssinian seed, sunflower seed. But then when it comes to the active ingredients, I really wanted to balance it out with gorgeous botanicals, the essential oils we spoke to provide an aromatherapeutic experience. Even if you're not aware that it's happening, you do feel a sense of calm. And on top of that, with iero beauty, all of these beautiful treasures from Mother Nature, including crystals, we've incorporated also as extracts. And extracts not only for their mindful value in terms of cueing you and the whole energetic story, but for instance, ingredients like malachite. Malachite is copper rich. And our one raw ingredient supplier does this beautiful extraction process where they pull the pure mineral content from the crystals. And the malachite actually gives our serene essence mist its really beautiful sheer or transparent indigo color. And the ingredient malachite is really beautiful because it is a powerful free radical scavenger. And so that copper within is incredible on the skin. So for me, the ingredient story has to deliver something incredible to skin, that barrier repair and strengthening, so we can make it through our very stressful days and finish our days in peace, harmony, and balance, skin and all the way in. And then most importantly, it also needs to have a beautiful, energetic or esoteric story to remind you again of all of the incredible treasures within you. So I love that kind of combination of crystal and botanical within an immersive experience that you're returning to your breath. And then as you transition to makeup, makeup glides on in a beautiful way. It's not absorbing into skin or getting caught on dry patches. And then most importantly, the end game, even after makeup, skin is radiant, beautiful, fresh, comfortable from the inside out. And that really matters to me. It took literally 6, 7, 8 months to nail each of the formulas. So ultimately, the consumer's getting the most beautiful experience with products that they know they can count on and that they fall in love with. And that's important. We put the love in, but we want you to fall in love because it's that good.
In today's world of skincare, it seems like there's this approach to more minimalism, very white, stark backgrounds, very dermatological, viewpoints. And this feels refreshing because this
It's
5D idea is so different than what we're currently seeing.
funny because it can be polarizing to retailers at first because the kind of austere, simple eco packaging or austere luxury packaging, that's branded without a lot of energy is what they are as merchants first drawn to because it's proven. So what we're doing may feel a little off, but to me, and if you just imagine, like Moonkissed is our very first energetic franchise. It'll be joined by another franchise that will look totally different, same packaging profile, but the color palette, which aligns with your energy centers. And so Moonkissed is really about the sixth and seventh chakra through the lens or through the portal of the heart. I'm talking a little esoteric, so we don't need to go there, but Daystar, which will be our next franchise to start launching within the next year, is much more about uplifting and energizing, protecting, and really marking you with everything you need to go out there with confidence, create from the heart and to hear and speak your truth. So the color palette will align with those particular energies or chakras. Why? Again, even for the novice, just being around color provides an energetic experience. And so if you can provide things that feel safe, feel beautiful and uplifting or centering or energizing, it's a bonus because then the individual becomes more aware of what they're doing. And that's really important as opposed to just slapping things on.
Conventionally, right, we think of beauty as this surface level treatment, but your approach is more holistic. And so, how does that play into beauty, really? What is changing in the beauty landscape that we are starting to think of this as more about well being, more about inner beauty, and not just the products we're putting on ourselves?
Well, I think for me, what really inspired like this very detailed process, it wasn't to create, unnecessary work for you, the consumer or the user, or to add more time that you don't have. Every second is sacred. It's about returning you to your breath, allowing you a moment to check in with yourself in the mirror. And so, ritual, and by the way, I worked with a Reiki master energy healer to really take the concept of multi-sensorial experience into a healing, nurturing moment of pause without stopping. You're still working, but you're working in the present moment and you're putting intention and nurture and love back into yourself. And that's why I'm all about, yes, I'm a makeup artist and I'm a brush freak. Like literally, I have just about every brush ever created. And that was one of my specialties at Mac. However, for me, it is about with clean hands, the energy we have in our divine masculine hand and our divine feminine hand, this nurture, this love, returning to your breath, a coherence practice, again, to be very present. And then as you start to work with the formulas and you smell them, and then you begin to anoint yourself and nurture and massage and cup and press, and you're checking in with yourself, it becomes a moment of self-love. Energetically, it's so powerful, so much so that it can transmute or change the course of your day and how you'll play going forward or how you end the day. And so within the same 5 minutes, this experience of ritual to fully engage with the formula, with the experience, and most importantly, to nurture yourself is one of the most critical things for emotional well-being and even for one's spiritual well-being. And we're not talking religions and we're not talking witchcraft. We're talking holistically your well-being and understanding your place here on earth and what you're set to do, what your mission is. All of these things become crystal clear the more you're able to really check in with yourself and recognize the powerful, beautiful soul that's standing in front of you in the mirror. So if you can prep for makeup or you're doing a no makeup look and you just want to feel, but also look your most incredible, radiant best, like what a wonderful thing to do to just give yourself that experience. Get out of autopilot for 5 minutes and come back to the breath, come back to yourself. And it all makes sense because you have the ability to shift your focus, shift your breathing, and ultimately align a feeling through shifting it up into more of a heart-centered emotion like gratitude, compassion, appreciation, love. And that self-love moment is a really important part of it. Don't you agree? We all have so much inner chatter going on, and our egos can be harsh, our harshest critics. And we need to really kind of focus on, in the most loving way, allow our highest selves to come through and to be able to coach in those one or two words. You got this. You're amazing. It's going to be great, instead of that inner narrative of the ego. So while it sounds spiritual, it goes back to emotional well-being, and it's really about coherence and that checking in with self you start to realize I'm a human being too, because we don't see that as we're going around executing, accomplishing, building, creating, nurturing others. This moment of nurture for self is super powerful. And it's something that we then can carry forward and allow us to be our best selves. And that for me right now, in my point of life, is super important. I want to be the best version, my highest self, as often as I can. I don't want to go back in autopilot.
Right. And I think you touched on the fact that it might sound esoteric to some, but really there's practical application because as you are focusing on yourself and taking that moment for yourself, that can translate into higher productivity throughout the day because you are now operating from a higher frequency, really, right? Your energy is in a better place. So you're better able to handle the things that life throws at you. And also, when you're getting ready in the morning or you're getting ready for something, to not have those negative thoughts as you're applying your skincare and your makeup. Because, I think most of us do. You're putting your makeup on, you're like, I wish that my eye circles weren't so bad, or I wish I wasn't breaking out here. But your point is to zoom out of that and really start to think about gratitude and all of these other higher frequency thoughts so that you can approach your day in a much better mindset.
When you feel better, when you lift your vibrational energy up from, again, just as you said, it was perfectly put, the self doubt and the self sabotage and the negative thoughts, as you're doing your makeup, criticizing yourself, or as you're thinking about your first meeting at 8:30 a.m. and you have 20 minutes to get there, oh, back to the breath, back to this beautiful nurture, checking in with self. There's nothing you can't handle. We got this. Bring that beautiful, higher vibrational energy and spirit to everything you do with love. And it's incredible because people are like, what the hell just happened here? Where did you didn't have vacation. Why are you acting differently? So, it is really about making that a consistent thing each and every day.
Exactly. You touched on that you use a couple of upcycled ingredients, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more about sustainability as it relates to your brand. On the website, I think it's referenced that iero beauty is conscious luxury. What does that mean?
Well, I think conscious luxury to me and how I'm observing the world everywhere I travel to. I think the consumer today, be they Gen Z, millennial, or Gen X and boomers, like when we're shopping um, for something, we're looking for something that feels curated for us. And at the same time, it's got to do good for us. Non toxic, clean ingredients. Obviously, we talked about that. But then to not have the buyer's remorse or regret that, I'm supporting this package that is literally going to go to the ocean or a landfill. For us, we want to, as a conscious luxury brand, to bring the responsibility and the work and with you because you are supporting us. We are trying to give back and support what's important to you. So using a minimal of 50% PCR when it comes to plastics and plastic resins. Obviously, PACT, we're proud to be a member of PACT as far as a recycling program, which makes it so stupid easy for all of us in our busy lives to collect and send back and know that we're doing our bit or drop off at one of the nearest drop offs, and they're everywhere now all the way down to even our shippers and our cartons using PCR, sustainably forest paper pulp. That was important because I want things that are rich and colorful. I don't want to hint at we're being wasteful. In the same space, we're being as responsible as we can, and we'll continue to up it. This is a starting point, and I'm really proud, but it's going to continue to get better as technology and innovation allows for even greater, quicker, and more refined sustainability. So as a luxury or a sustainable luxury brand, it's about not only the packaging materials and being able to say we're using some upcycled ingredients, but it's about the whole experience, leaving you feeling like I'm aligned, I've done good, I have no remorse. I'm doing my part because we all want to do our part. So for me, it was a no brainer and it's a starting point, for version 1.0, but we're just going to continue to evolve and get involved in more activities, including 1% for the planet, which allows us to choose some important to the consumer in the regions that the money is actually raised or the revenue is raised to be able to give back. And while it may be small now, coming from MAC Cosmetics, and as you know, Viva Glam and the MAC AIDS Fund was a total love mark for all of us within the brand. We were so proud to do our part to educate the consumer to buy a Viva Glam lipstick that every selling cent at that time went to individuals living with HIV and AIDS for treatment, for nourishment, for medication, and for education. And that became broader later on as MAC evolved, as we hit the year 2000 and beyond. And they're still raising dynamic amounts of money. My dream is to be able to do the same thing, so with our beautiful consumers, we feel like we're giving from the heart and we feel good about every cent that goes to help make a difference.
I would love to know, since you've been in the beauty industry for decades, what are some of the biggest shifts you've seen in trends or how people are approaching makeup and skincare that have really changed in the time that you've even been at MAC?
It's fascinating to look back. I remember when I began at MAC, MAC had just launched Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation in the compact. And I worked within the Washington, D.C. area at a location, a Nordstrom location. And it was remarkable how literally every imaginable skin color and tone would line up from very young to more mature, literally 12 to 24 deep, all the way across the counter. And everybody wanted to have the experience of a high pigmented lipstick, a high pigmented foundation, and Studio Fix changed the game. It was really interesting. And yes, when you would put Studio Fix on, even over prepped skin, it would look velvety, matte, devoid of radiance. And then as one's natural oils and the heat of the skin would not melt, that's not the right way, but kind of set the makeup, then even with a full covering foundation, and literally and I'm guilty of this, I was doing makeups on consumers that were so self-conscious of rosacea, etc. We were doing full coverage foundation, which came in a little compact jar, and then we would do Studio Fix over it. So we're talking conceivably like the opacity and the thickness of the makeup and the flawless look, how to make that look real. And it's amazing because I do know there are many women and men, because of skin conditions, that still need to be very careful with their coverage, and they do want coverage. But what's beautiful today, and I think, again, with science and innovation and accessibilities of amazing dermatological treatment, great skincare, people are very aware. They are working literally to provide the longevity and the optimal skin health that they can through everything that they do, their diet, drinking lots of water, the ingredients they use, seeing their derms. So yeah, the big thing is, even without makeup, women and men are so proud of their skins. And that to me is one of the big shifts, is you can still do makeup, and then off the clock or on the weekend, you want to make sure that you look incredible without makeup or minimal. And so that was one of the big changes, is you don't have to be light, dark, light contoured with an inch of foundation, but you certainly can. And I'm going to cheer you on because I love makeup. But for me, when I see authenticity and that beautiful inner confidence of saying, this is the real me, it's a beautiful thing to witness. So that definitely has changed. And then this whole bit, as you beautifully brought up, about well-being, self-care. There's an important trend that has been emerging for the last 4 years, and it's forecasted over the next decade. And so we're not just talking brands founded by doctors, but this beautiful movement called, I cannot believe I'm forgetting the name of it. Basically, the notion is that beauty is deeper than the skin and that it has everything to do with your well being. And I'm so excited that it is a growing trend. You're seeing numerous brands come into the market with different approaches, things that can be ritualized, not in the same way we're doing it, but I'm looking at brands like Soul Care by Alicia Keys, one of the original masstige brands that play within Whole Foods. Evan Healy has this beautiful philosophy of, again, ritual, the natural cycles that we live through, be it the cosmic cycles, lunar cycles, and earth cycles, and learning to dance that dance based on how you experience energetically the product. I would say we very much are attuned in line with that, but our approach is still a little different. And then brands like Tatcha, and many other of the Asian brands, really Asian and Indian brands that are with you in the experience, encouraging ritual. And there's a big difference between slapping it on, being an autopilot, and then ritual, which is an intentional approach with purpose, purpose to nurture myself, take a break, check in with myself, get myself feeling primed and ready for whatever's next, even if it's bad. So I'm loving this whole approach. And the word that escaped me, psychodermatology. I would say many of us are now considered on the trend. And I'm really excited to be part of this revolution because I think if you can deliver gorgeous results, if you can make someone feel confident and comfortable and go beyond skin deep and nurture themselves, then that is an experience that is priceless and hopefully one that becomes perennial in one's experience.
I think people don't remember what you do for them, but they remember how you make them feel. And I think that's the same thing for brands, right? That's why we choose the brands we do because they make us feel a certain way.
Perfectly put.
So, Nick, what's next for iero? What are your plans for 2025 and beyond?
Well, 2025 is exciting. We're still in startup mode. And because what we're doing is still considered slightly white space, even by the retailers that are investing in other brands, in an overcrowded market, FYI, over 400 brands have launched since COVID. And out of that, the percentage that actually make it through the first year and the second year. So all of us founders and business owners and creators are very aware and very grateful to our communities. And for every year that we're allowed to grow, flourish, and embrace the community that begins to embrace us. So as we're building community across many channels, the retail footprint for us is going to be important. And while it's a starting point, we're playing in these interesting kind of holistic skin spaces, fashion and lifestyle, like one of my favorite retailers, Violet and Grace, not to be confused. And I also love Violet Gray, but Violet and Grace is owned by an incredible, passionate, gifted curator. And she comes from the world of fashion. She was a top model. The store is in South Beach at the One Hotel. And she curates fashion and accessories and lifestyles from the best European and American and international houses. And it's pure luxury. And then she has a small apothecary that she's curated the brands and gorgeous luxury fragrances. And to play in a space like that, where each of her sales specialists have a heart connection with their consumer or their clients that come in. And so it's not just about trying to sell them something. It's about understanding truly what makes that person tick and what will help them feel incredible, feel lifted. So that space is all about really nurturing the consumer. And so we do well in spaces like that. We're getting ready to launch the Middle East. We'll be launching in the United Arab Emirates in a new luxury concept store this month. And I'm so excited. We've done a lot of research. We think our approach to well-being, incorporating ritual, and again, that nurture and self-love, it will resonate there. And the way that we're doing it is so different than a lot of the competition that has already come in to that market. So I'm really excited for this opportunity to kind of break bread and embrace the Middle Eastern consumer with all of our love and all of our great respect for, their amazing culture and diversity there. So going to be a great learning to actually be there in person and spend time and hear and bond and connect. I'm really excited. And then beyond, while we're not going crazy right now as far as global expansion, we're choosing Middle East. We're choosing a European retailer very carefully right now. And then in North America, because it's our flagship market, the goal is to really grow in the right environment to thrive and to be of great service to the consumer. And then product wise, you'll see Moonkist expand into other products. Right now we have, and while it may look like color, our Moonkist Luminous pH lip is actually part of the self-care experience. Again, it's multi-sensorial, lavender, chamomile, and natural vanillin, but it's a buttery lip serum intensive. You can sleep in it like a lip mask, blot once. Beautiful ingredients that we spoke about are very much present in this. But what's cool is between the prismatic optics and the pH reactive pigments, it's about authentic self-expression. So what blooms on you with these pH activated pigments and the way the prismatic optics bend the light very subtly, it's authentic radiance. Whether it's on the lip and you wear it to bed and you've blotted it and it's pillow safe and you look sexy in bed, or whether it's part of your day and you're working it also onto the cheeks where it creates a gorgeous color lit from within. For me, it's about giving you multi-use, multi-function, holistic products that perform. And what's up for 25 and 26? It's to expand Moonkist. There'll be more color hybrids to begin launching our energetic franchise called Daystar, which is a different experience. However, you can reach across franchises. I have rosacea. I want to calm and soothe, but I also want to energize. There's nothing wrong with, because it's not like we are working with ingredients that are prescription. Everything at efficacy level is about nurturing and honoring the integrity of your skin and optimizing it. So for us, it's about energetically, how do I feel? How do I want to feel? How do I look? And how do I want to look? And being able to reach over with confidence to things and combining them almost like you're creating your own prescription for that moment. And then, because I love complexion, and as a makeup artist, the future, hopefully it will hold in the next couple of years, the development of color categories that will also bring, the performance that one would expect and that I expect as a makeup artist. But most importantly, that beautiful multi-sensorial experience, be it a little bit more subtle than the skincare, we still want to take you back to your breath. We still want you to feel like you are honoring yourself with every stroke, with every blend, with every product that you experience to kind of punctuate and optimize your radiance and your beautiful, authentic self.
I'm so excited for all of that. Where can people find you or learn more about iero?
Oh my gosh. Well, iero.beauty, iero period, beauty on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Also, ierobeauty.com is our direct to consumer site. And what's beautiful, it is an immersive experience. The rituals that we spoke of that our Reiki master, Jennifer, created for the brand with me, we've brought them to life, actually working with an amazing illustrator who's London based. And she's done gorgeous work for Vogue and Rolling Stone and within fashion and lifestyle. And even within the oracle card space, she collaborated with Teresa Chung. Her name is Natalie Foss, and she developed these beautiful avatars that are representative of all of us. And what's cool is our approach, shift focus, shift breathing, shift feeling, is brought to life through these quick little prompts as you're watching the avatar. Take 3 drops of an oil, warm it up, hands up in prayer position, Inhale. We guide you through the experience so then you can go do it your way. But to just help you to understand, to fully engage is to have the most optimal experience. So on our website, you'll find our rituals on each product page, and then even on a ritual section. And then what I love too about the DTC channel for us is we talk about next level transparency. We want to educate you as well on the ingredients that are in every product, what they are, where they come from, what the benefits are, and all that kind of good stuff. We've got a whole section that's kind of like a tutorial where you can explore the ingredients and find out what ingredient is in which product, etc. So it's a nice experience.
Well, thank you so much, Nick.
Pleasure.